In this video, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite tools for SEO optimized blog writing. NeuronWriter is a great tool for helping you to optimize your blog content, which will get you ranking in Google, drive more traffic to your websites, and inevitably get you more clients. It's also great if you're a freelance writer or a business owner looking to provide optimized blog content for clients. I have got some great results from my clients using this tool. So let's take a look. I'm Laura Bean and this is Creative Little World. Okay, so if you're not familiar with NeuronWriter, it is a really great tool for optimizing your blog content for SEO. And what it does, it walks you through the whole process of creating a blog. So once you've signed up, you'll have a dashboard that looks like this. Now, depending on the level that you sign up to, you have the option for the amount of projects you can have. So I have 2 projects allowed on my version of NeuronWriter because that's all I need to run my business. I can analyze my clients through one, and then I have my own business on the other. So to start with, you'd open a new query in Content Writer. Okay, so for the example of this one, I just want to write something along the lines of what we're talking about. So I'm going to put an idea for my blog title in here. So elevating your freelance business through strategic blogging and SEO. So this is really a guide for what you want your blog to be about. You don't have to stick to the exact title. Then you would select your search engine. So in my case, United Kingdom, but you might be United States or wherever you're based. There are some advanced settings. So this is if you have a team working with you, set delivery dates, and you can set up a few of these at once. So for now, we're just going to leave it like that, and then we're going to hit start. So what it's going to do, it's going to add this to my list here. And it takes a few moments, but it's going to start doing an analysis. And this is where it's going to basically draw in all the competitors out there, everyone else's blog content that's along the similar lines, and it's going to compare it. So it's going to give us a base for what our blog is going to be about, based on the others that are ranking in Google. So it just takes a minute or two to do this analysis. Okay, so once that's done, you'll be able to click into your blog. Now, first thing it's going to do is do the competitor analysis. So as I said before, what it's done, it's pulled in the content that's already ranking on Google, and it's showing you whereabouts it ranks. And what it does, it selects the top 10 pages, and you can use these to basically draw in the content that you want for your own blog. Now, it'll give you a score, so obviously the lighter the sort of green and yellow colour, the better their scoring, obviously the higher the number as well. And what you want to do is just take a quick look around here. So sometimes it pulls in things, although it's ranking highly on Google, it might not really be the best for analysing. So it might be that it's pulled in a YouTube video, for example, that isn't going to perhaps give you the right format for your blog. So you can have a look, you can deselect things if you don't want, if this content score is low, you can deselect, and then you can choose something that ranks, has a higher ranking score within that content. So once you've done that, click next. And what that's going to do is start preparing our blog content for us. So once you've done that, you get this page. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, but this is what's going to help us build our content out. Now, the main things to look at on here is this section. So this is going to start scoring us as we build our content. And what we want to do is we want to get a better score than our competitors out there, because that's going to give us a stronger chance of ranking high in search terms. It's not the only thing you need to do. So don't think this is going to automatically put you on the top of Google. There are obviously other SEO techniques to use along the way and other factors that come into it, but this is going to give you a great base. Okay, so if you're not sure how to create your blog or what you need to put in there, the great thing about NeuronWriter is it gives you this outline tool. So what it will do, it will bring in the headings that your competitor blogs are using. It will also give you some smart headings based on the search terms that you can use, and it will also bring in the questions that people are asking when they're using search engines. And these are really good if you're using the whole they ask, you answer technique. So a book by Marcus Sheridan that is absolutely brilliant, and he teaches us that what we need to do is answer the questions that our audience is asking. If you're not familiar with it, I'll pop a link to the book in below because it is worth a read. Anyway, so from this we can map out our blog. We can start putting in headings. And what we've also got that can help is the terms in headings. So based on the search term we've used and the competitors out there, what NeuronWriter does is give you some H1 terms. So these are header 1 terms, and that's going to be the title of your blog post. And it gives you the type of phrases and terms you should be using to get better ranks on SEO. So let's start with what I've used already to create this blog. So I'm going to put it in, I'm going to put it as, so I'm going to add that in, and I'm going to tag it as H1. So there you can see that I've used these terms, and my score already has gone up to 19. So that's just from adding in that header. What we could then do is play with that heading if you wanted to pick up more of these terms. So we could add strategies to the end of this title, so we could pick up this term here as well. Okay, so elevating your freelance business through strategic blogging and SEO strategies. So now we've got the title of our blog. What we want to do then is add it into this back end of the blog post. So we can pop that in there, and we can see again that these sort of competitor meta descriptions that we've got here, and we can see the type of thing that they're writing, and that can help with our meta description here. It's worth noting the length of your headline. So in this case, this one is probably a bit long, but for the sake of just showing you how this works, I'm going to leave it like that, but just be mindful of that. So we need a meta description as well. So I'm going to pop one that I made earlier in here. And again, it will give you some search terms. There's only one there, but they'll give you some search terms normally that are worth optimizing for. Now, a meta description isn't necessarily going to affect your SEO score, but what it will do is give reasons for people to click through. So that's meta description is what they're going to see here. So make sure it tells them what the blog's going to be about. It's going to give them information that's going to draw them into clicking and opening your blog over other people's. Okay, so once we've done that, we just save that, and you can see already just by adding the title and the meta description, our score has gone up dramatically. So as I was showing you before, what we want to do is create the content outline for our blog. So we've got some header 2 terms there. So NeuronWriter likes you using header 2 because that also helps Google and search engines recognize that that information is important on the page. So that's why it ranks it higher than, say, if you used header 3 or if you didn't use it at all. So every time you do a subheading or anything like that, make sure you give it the header, tag it as a header 2, make it stand out, and then the search engines can pick that up. So let's go back to the outline here. Now I like to go with some of the questions that people are asking out there. So what I could do is I can add that in as a header 2. How do I create SEO strategy for my business? Does having a blog increase SEO? That's a good question to answer. Here, what other people are asking, what terms. we could perhaps answer this one. What's content writing? Top 10 tips to elevate your brand online. And of course I can adapt this. So if I'm writing specifically for freelancers, I might want to add like freelance business in here and change that. And then let's say lastly, where to promote your content, because this is a good one, because you can't just rely on search engines picking up your blogs. You do need to put them out there and get the traffic flowing to it. Okay, so as you can see, we're already building out quite a good framework for our blog, and it's been really easy. It's given me everything. I haven't really had to think long and hard. These are terms that I know people are using. These are my competitor blogs. So what we want to do then is populate the content and write the blog. So I'm not going to bore you as I write this, but let's pop in the first bit. So what we can do here, I've just written basically the starter of this blog. Now it's good to look here as to how I can make this even more optimized. So we're going to look at the fact it says search engine optimization it's got here. So I can improve this already by writing out search engine optimization. Now, and then doing that SEO. So people, it's also good to actually explain what that is as well. If you're using a term, don't just assume people know it. So what it's done there, it's made this green because I've used this once already. Now, the only thing with this, even though I've told it I am UK, it was obviously pulling in content that is US. So we have different ways of spelling. So I'm not going to worry too much. I won't hit this because I don't want to use the wrong type of language. So don't stress over that too much. Just be aware that you might not be able to hit all the search terms just because you're using a S instead of a Z or vice versa. Okay, now I'm going to carry on writing this, so I won't bore you. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I have written out the blog, and as you can see, my terms in the article, I've used a lot from the basic section and a few from this extended section here. You don't have to try and cram everything in. Obviously it improves your score, but it also has to make sense. So the best thing we can do is write the blog and then go through and just pick out some of the select words so you think you can get in there while it still reads right. So what we've got then, we've got our score. So already, you know, I'm 64, so I'm ahead of the leading competitor blog for this search term, which is brilliant. And this gives me a sort of breakdown of everything. So it can show you where you can improve. So I could add some more of these terms into the blog. I can increase the word count, so it's recommending I get to 2,000 odd words. Obviously I haven't done that many here, but this is just an example. And the headings, obviously it's telling me that I can increase that by getting a few more of those key terms into my H2 headings. So I just wanted to show you one other cool thing about it. If you wanted to do use AI for your writing, now it has AI integrated, so you could use ChatGPT externally, or you could use the NeuronWriter AI writing section. So let's just demonstrate that. So what we can do, we can get it to start a paragraph based on the headline. You can use it to expand some selected text. So for example, if I wanted this in a bit more detail, you can ask it to rephrase things. So if you've written something yourself, or if you've pulled something from ChatGPT or something you don't like, you can ask it to rephrase things. So we'll get this to start the paragraph for us. So it's got the heading in there, boosting the SEO. You can include some of the following terms. So if you wanted it to include some of those keywords, you could add those in here. And if you have bullet points, for example, so you can add bits that you want it to add. You can change its tone of voice. So I'm going to keep it as neutral just to kind of go with the flow of this, but you could change the tone of voice of the text and the selected word output. So I don't want a huge amount, but Let's go with 150. Let's stick with what it's given. So it's writing it for me. Okay, so this is what it's given me. We're not going to read through it. One thing I will suggest is just making sure you space things out. People don't like to read big chunks of text, so as you're creating your blog, make sure it's spaced out evenly, so that will give you easier to read through it as well. So it's not changed our score, so it's not obviously used some of those terms in here. So what you could do, if you're using AI to help write your blogs, remember it's not necessarily going to know the terms that you need to use. So I would suggest going through the copy it gives you and just seeing how you can use some of these terms in there to improve your score. Now, I haven't read this through properly, so I will do that once we've finished, but I just wanted to demonstrate the tools that NeuronWriter has and how they could benefit you. Okay, so we're going to save that, so we're happy with what we've got so far. There are some other tools on here that are worth looking at, so you can have a better look at what your competitors are writing about, which can be really helpful, especially if you're a bit stuck on what to write. You can look at the structure that they've used, a complete breakdown for comparison. So this will tell you the features of the blog. So if it's got sort of a video content in there, for example, a form. So that's quite useful to know. Related keywords. So again, this could all go into your SEO strategy for creating more blog content in the future, because you can see what else people are using, and they're those content terms again, so you can see how important they are. It's even got how-to videos attached to it. So internal links, what you can do is ask it to generate internal links. So when it's linked to your website, it can suggest what pages you can link your blog to throughout your content. And then if you want to add any comments, this is probably more if you're working amongst a team, you've got a few people working on it. Okay, so that's how you would write the blog in NeuronWriter and how you get the best score possible. What else can you do? So you can export the content. You can add your own articles. So if you've already written a load of articles and you want to test them in NeuronWriter to see how well they are optimized, you can do that, and then you can look at improving them yourself. It's also got a planner, so if you want to plan out ideas, so say from that we could see that it recommended doing an SEO strategy template. Okay, so we can add that in as to our content plan. So as it's giving you ideas, you can write them in here to make a bit of a content plan for your business. You can say when you want it due, you can assign it to team members, and then you can hit write and it's gonna go straight in and set up that for you. So that's a really useful tool as part of NeuronWriter. Right, so in terms of buying NeuronWriter yourself, I think it's actually a very affordable tool. So there's two options. You can try NeuronWriter for free using a free trial, and I'll pop all the links below so you can try these out if you want. So on this plan, you can pay monthly or annually. So the one I've just shown you is actually just the bronze plan. So it's quite simple. It gives me 2 project folders. So like you saw, I've got clients and I've got myself, and I can do 25 content analyses. So the blogs that we've shown you in that, although I do have a few more credits for some of the stuff that I've done with NeuronWriter, but that will give you that and AI credits. And if you have a bigger team, then you'll probably want to consider the gold plan, because you can content share and other people can edit and create blogs then. Okay, so if you do have a team, then you want to consider this plan at the minimum. Now, it's not too expensive. It's quite costly if you want to do it per month, but it is really effective, so it is worth it. However, you could do what I've done and get yourself the lifetime plan. So the lifetime plan is just a one-off payment. Okay, so you will pay one price, and that will give you NeuronWriter for life, okay? And you can always upgrade. So I would certainly recommend getting the lifetime plan. Again, there's a link below if you'd like this one. So you would pay 69 euros, dollars, whatever it's going to be in for you. So you pay the lifetime price, and then that is it. That's all you have to pay. And I have used this for, gosh, I don't know, a year, 2 years. I'm really happy with the results it's got me, so it's well worth it. And again, if you want this for bigger projects, bigger team, then go for the gold plan as a minimal. You can upgrade, so if you wanted to start out on here and upgrade later, then that is an option for you. So I think NeuronWriter is a really great tool, and it has got me results. So I'm not just putting it out there as something to try. I actually have tried and tested this myself, and I have got really, really good results. So one of my clients, for example, we published his blog, and within 6 days it was ranking number 3 on Google. And I know we've got several of his blogs to the top rankings. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are other factors to consider with SEO. So things like backlinking to your website, to the authority of your site. So NeuronWriter won't necessarily be your instant quick fix, but it's certainly going to help, and it's certainly going to get you much further with your blogging process, and it's going to teach you how to do it. So it's going to give you useful tools to help you work through that process, speed things up a bit, and get some great content out there. As I've mentioned, you'll find all the links below to everything I've talked about in this video. So please do check them out, go and have a look, and get yourself a great deal with NeuronWriter. If you found this video helpful, please do give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe, because I do lots more reviews on useful tools that are going to really help you and your business. Here's to you creating some great content, and I'll see you next time.